Well, welcome back to the channel. You know, since I started making videos, one of the #1 questions I get is how I do the custom faces, or 3D printed resin faces on custom engines. As you can see here, Toby does not have one yet, and all thanks to my good friend TrainStorm, we have plenty to give him. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, 6 beautifully printed in resin Toby faces, which we will finish today, as well as some smaller Percy ones. And, you know, I've never made a video showing the entire process for this. Why not today, you know? So, ladies and gentlemen, if this is something you're doing with me, what all do you need? To cough, apparently, in my case. Well, #1 is the engine. So, as you can see here, we've got Toby, and he's still got the Bachmann face. The 3D printed faces. So, we've got these. We've got some very small Percy ones here, and let's see here. Just a little bit of sandpaper. You don't really need a lot or a super high grit. We're only trying to finish these things off. And next up is Tamiya Light Gray Surface Primer. Now, this is the paint I typically use for faces since it, you know, is pretty consistent. It's easily sandable, but you can use any number of gray paints to, you know, get any desired finish you want. You know, there's darker grays for a more CGI look, stuff like that. It's really more up to personal preference in that regard. And, well, next is a good pen. I got a Sharpie pen here, and this is completely and totally optional, but I always resort to these. These are Tamiya Weathering Master kits, and this one in specific I call Model Makeup. As you can see here from this pink, it's a very good blush, and we'll probably apply that to most, if not all of these faces, just for a bit of added touch. So, yeah. Oh yeah, and a can of matte clear, you need that too, or gloss clear, or satin clear, whatever you want to finish it, just make sure you have that too. Alright, so let's get to it. Alright, first things first, let's get these Toby faces off of this sprue here. Just cut them off like so. Now, I'm gonna try to keep the moving eye mechanism inside of Toby, but I don't know if that's something I can do just yet. That's, we'll see. We'll see in that regard. At least now we have the faces separated, and we'll use an X-Acto to get this little nub off here. All right, and looks like Percy doesn't have that problem, so we'll leave him to the side for now. Okay, so as you can see here, the faces are really damn good quality, but if you look just close enough, you can see kind of on the side here, you can just see those print lines and imperfections, or, you know, kind of right there on the top. And to fix that, it is so simple. You just need a little bit of sandpaper. You're going to take that around the edges like so, and we'll just go around the sides like that. We'll also do a bit on the face itself, more the rounded parts, but that is not something you have to go as hard on. That's just, you know, to get rid of any print lines again. And that's also why I recommend printing these in resin. So, you know, you don't have to sand as much. In that regard, you'll just kind of take it like that and just very lightly. I like to go in circles, kind of like that. Just take it over anywhere you can see with the print line. Boom. Do it there too. And once we're done with this process, we will run this under some water, you know, try to clean up this dust residue and whatever's left. But yeah, it's a pretty simple process, and we'll now do this for all 6 of the Toby faces and 2 Percy faces. Nice. All right, and with all of that, we now have these cleaned off, sanded a couple times, and ran through the water. They are now attached to some tape on this empty wooden railway box, and we'll take them out for a spray of the primer. Now, this is what's going to tell you whether or not this will be a long process or not. You might have to go back and redo everything you just saw if you find a bunch of imperfections on these faces. But if you took your time and, you know, really make sure you get all of those print lines and pay attention to where they are, this really shouldn't be that long of a process. This is also a primer you can layer up pretty well. So yeah, if that's any help, there's that. And once we're done with that, we'll leave them to dry and try to get this face off Toby. Well, old face off Toby. You know what I'm talking about. So while the faces are drying, I did do just a little bit of work on Toby. As you can see here, I've got him off the chassis. It's very simple. All you gotta do is take off these couplers here, and it will slide right out. And boom, I just popped the face right out with my finger. And I've also went ahead and done some work on the lamps. As you can see here, the front one is now silver, the back one is red. And I did give him a matte clear coat, but kind of oversprayed on the top here, and had to buff it out a little bit. If you can see where I've sanded just a little bit of it off. But truth be told, that might end up a blessing in disguise. If you really want a detailed Toby, you have to sand off most of this. You can leave the funnel, but these two gotta go. And that's not something I plan to do in this video, just because I don't have the bell or other part ready. But at the very least, I think I can repaint this roof and just make it look a little bit more accurate, or at the very least used, you know, like he's been in operation. So essentially the plan now is to let that sit for a minute. We're gonna let this clear coat really settle, maybe jump on the faces in the meantime, and once that's good, mask this off and attack the roof. I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, so sadly I wasn't recording for a good bit of it, but if you can even tell, I have repainted the roof here. I've kind of got the bell, funnel, and this piece here repainted. I haven't finished the bell completely. As you can see here, I have to get the band there and all that done. But pretty much the Toby shell is nearing completion. I'm gonna let this dry a little bit more, let that matte clear really set in, then I'll get some tape right there, finish off that rope. For now though, let's finish up these faces. And I think it's a little redundant to do like 8 faces since it's all the same process. We'll just stick with 2. We've got this Percy face and this Toby face. And as you can see here, they do have their eyebrows and mouths filled in. Now the eyebrows are done, like I said earlier, with this Sharpie pen. You just kind of trace it with a pencil, and once you get the shape you like, go over it with this. The mouths are a bit more complicated. I take a very thin brush, just dab it in some black paint, and kind of, you know, again, I should have been recording. I wasn't thinking about it. I'm sorry. But they're not completely finished yet. We do have to add this blush and stuff, and we'll do that, and then give them their last bit of matte clear. Boom, faces are done. And Toby will have a new face to wear. Also, it's sadly looking like it's not possible to keep that moving eye mechanism, since as you can see here, the eyes kind of fall into these and then move around. Without that faceplate there to hold them in place, it just doesn't really work well. That being said though, you can, you know, at least reuse these eyes. Like if you take them, oops, like so, look at this. That's really not that bad. And say you don't have, you know, airsoft BBs and some cut vinyl, that could be a lot worse in my opinion. If it's even focusing, come on camera, please. A lot worse in my opinion. See, that's not too bad. So yeah, we might end up reusing those eyes. It's pretty simple to do so. What you do is just take your pliers, this part. You don't need these little extremities now since it's not a moving eye system. These are just, you know, fill in eyeballs. I'd say that's probably good for Toby. That'll probably do that. And for Percy, now, I don't want to spoil too much. The Percy project is continuing soon. The body shell will hopefully be here soon. But the face will be kind of weathered up a little bit, so it's not like the blush and eyebrows and all of the super finicky details on him need to be perfect. But I'm still gonna, you know, try my best to make it decent. I guess that's just a little bit of a hint, you know, for what will become of this face, since this face will probably be the main. I don't think I'm gonna use the smiling one too much on the upcoming project, but again, you'll see. And that quickly, if I can get him up, there we go. We have some accented and blushed Percy and Toby faces. And again, I just think that's a detail that really brings the face home. It shows some emotion, some blood flowing. It's just cool, you know? I think it's something that's really elevated my face making since I've gotten this product. And all right, ladies and gentlemen, with all that being said, I think it's time to fit those eyes, matte clear this, and finish up Toby, and then go for a reassembly. And it's time to take him to the layout. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Either subscribe, donate, or get the fuck out.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that gray roof, so I went back and did it in white. So turns out he's not done yet, but like we're getting there. It's a model it's a process, all right? These things happen. Get off my dick.